Hello, my name is Shane Coakley, and I'm talking to you today about a deep energy retrofit case study and having a look at who pays for the retrofit, who benefits, and how this information should best be used to inform policy. The presentation will cover the NZEB 101 overall umbrella project. I'll go through the case study buildings themselves and then talk about the actual temperatures compared with what the dwelling energy assessment procedure software predicts and the actual energy consumption then compared with the predicted. And then get into the meat of the presentation, really, which is the cost benefit compared with the predicted. And then have a look at the stakeholder analysis in terms of who pays, who benefits. So, having a look at the NZEB 101 project itself. This is a project which is funded by the Sustainability Energy Authority of Ireland and is carried out in UCD. And I'm working on it along with my colleagues, Dr. Oliver Cannan, Dr. Richard O'Hegarty, and Donald Lennon. The objectives really is, the objective is to carry out a post-occupancy evaluation of 101 NZEB dwellings in Ireland, and to use this evidence-based information for decision making for the next iteration of the building regulations. It's done in collaboration with a number of industry partners, as you'll see down at the bottom of the page. And the particular deep energy retrofit that we're looking at is a scheme of 12 houses arranged around a quadrangle in the southeast of Ireland. This is a picture of the dwellings before the deep energy retrofit. They had oil-fired central heating in combination with open fires with back boilers and electric heaters. And external insulation was applied, as you can see here, from ground level right the way up to roof level. And this was carried out by Wexford County Council, who is the local authority. They're the landlord, and they have a similar role to housing associations. And the tenants essentially are social housing tenants, and they're all retired. And this is the building that they're now living in. You can see the solar PV on the roof, the external insulation applied to the block, windows and doors replaced. And here's the detail of the measures and the costs associated with those measures. This was a project which was 50% funded by the Sustainability Energy Authority of Ireland. And overall, the costs were working out at around 25,000 per dwelling, giving a after grant cost of 12,500 per dwelling for the local authority landlord, if you like. And then VAT is added to those prices, giving a total project cost there in the bottom right of the table of €339,000. So, how did it work out in terms of the temperatures, the interior indoor air quality? Well, the deep dwelling energy assessment procedure software is the software which calculates the building energy rating for all dwellings in Ireland. And it assumes two heating periods, one in the morning and one in the evening, and two different set temperatures, 21 degrees Celsius in the living room and 18 degrees Celsius in the rest of dwellings, the rest of the dwelling, for these two heating periods. So that's what the software predicts or stipulates. This is actually what was recorded. You'll see relatively high temperatures, and you'll see relatively consistent temperatures. And these were the two trends that we saw for the winter temperatures for the 3 months of winter. Have a look in particular at NZEB 26 there in yellow. What you'll see is the temperatures given by the box plots range from around 24 degrees up to around 25 degrees during the periods analysed, and that the temperatures were consistently higher than 21 degrees in the living room, and if you look down on the bottom slide, consistently higher than the 18 degrees predicted for the rest of dwelling. Now, these higher temperatures come at a cost. So the question is, what was the actual energy consumption compared with the predicted? Well, the before and after building energy ratings are shown in this diagram here. 4 of the buildings had an F rating, and 8 of the buildings had a G rating, which is the poorest energy rating on the scheme. And they were upgraded to all A rated. So one of them had an A1 rated, 9 had an A2 rated, and 2 of the dwellings had an A3 rated after the deep energy retrofit. And on the right, you'll see that in the blue, so take NZEB 22, for example, on the extreme left of this graph, that was coming in as an A2, which in the building energy rating, which was coming in at 3,416 kilowatt hours for domestic hot water and space heating for the full year. But yet, when we recorded the domestic hot water and space heating, it was coming in as a B1 equivalent energy rating at 5,879 kilowatt hours. And you'll see that all of the dwellings monitored, the 8 dwellings for which we have detailed information, were coming in at higher than predicted in terms of the energy consumption. And one of them in particular, NZEB 26, this is the dwelling that we saw had the highest temperatures in the previous slide. That was coming in at a C1 energy rating rather than an A energy rating. And you'll see down at the bottom, it consumed 138% higher energy than predicted. So in use for the sample of 8, we ended up with 3 A-rated dwellings, 4 B-rated dwellings, and 1 C-rated in terms of actual in-use building energy rating. How do the finances work out on this? Well, because the energy was considerably lower than it had been, there were significant direct savings for the tenants, both in terms of heating and in carbon taxes. So they're going from an F and a G up to an A. And based on the based on the actual heating costs, we're moving from €274 based on the BER up to 371. So the in-use performance was actually worse by 35% than what the building energy rater would indicate. So what this is saying is that, €371 on average was spent on heating for domestic hot water and space heating over the year. Now, this is really good because compared with the previous bills, they averaged €1,415. So we'll see an actual reduction of 74% from 1,415 down to €371. So this is a really significant saving, and the tenants were really happy. And how does this work out overall? Well, look at the 15-year costs and direct benefits. Down on the bottom left, you'll see it was €28,200 for each of the houses, including VAT. And you'll see in green, just above that, the total direct benefits amounted to €23,300 for each of the dwellings again. And this is broken down on actual heating savings of 15,700, carbon savings of 5,100, and reduction in maintenance and fire costs for the landlord as well. So the 15-year return for the €28,000 invested, there was €23,000 returned. So this is a very good return, and you'll see how those savings actually break down on the right. But it's not just direct benefits, there are also indirect benefits. And the International Energy Agency gives us a breakdown of where those direct and indirect benefits accrue. For direct, the energy, obviously, the greenhouse gas emissions, and also public budgets in terms of reduced fire risk for these buildings, given that the open fire is eliminated. But equally, there are co-benefits. So these are indirect benefits, which accrue also. And they accrue for the economy because if money isn't been wasted on heating, it's been spent in the local economy, and you can quantify that. Equally, because these dwellings were much healthier post the deep energy retrofit, the costs for the state in terms of the health are reduced, and also asset values increase. And this was a significant increase. We got a building valuation carried out by an expert, and they said that the value of the building increased by €35,000. And when you think that the cost of the increase, or the cost of the project, was €28,000, you'll see that it's actually self-financing from that perspective alone. When you look at the health benefits, they were coming in as over €6,000 per dwelling over 15 years. and the Department of Finance would benefit by €2,300 per dwelling as well in terms of GDP over the 15-year period. So indirect benefits, when we sum all these up, we're coming in at €43,000 on average across the dwellings. So when you add these up for the 12 units for the 15-year period that we're assessing, you'll see that for the cost of €339,000, including VAT, direct benefits were €341,000. This includes a €61,000 carbon tax, which is paid by the government and penalties. And indirect benefits, which would have been paid by the government penalties, and indirect benefits of at least €501,000. So the total benefits for the expenditure of €339,000 are coming in at €842,000. So the return on the investment, you're getting 236% return on your investment of €339,000. So the conclusion is, big tick, this project is financially attractive. For €340,000, you're getting benefits of €842,000. So you'd want to proceed with this. But who wants to proceed with this? What about the stakeholders? Well, the tenants are delighted. They're very happy with the upgrade as per the occupant satisfaction survey carried out. The heating bills that they see are reduced from an average of €1,415 down to €371 per annum. So they have essentially paid nothing for this and still qualify for a fuel allowance of €840 per annum. The government essentially pays most for the upgrade at €193,000, with the housing association or local authority meeting the remainder. And they enjoy benefits of €182,000 in terms of avoided CO2 penalties, increased GDP, and reduced health liabilities. And of course, if taxes were considered, this would even be more advantageous for the government. But the local authority or the housing association, well, they pay 50% of the upgrade cost at €146,000, but the benefits that they see are only in reduced maintenance and reduced chimney fire costs. So the direct benefits over the 15 years only accrue to €31,000. But on the plus side, their indirect benefits due to the increased property values accrue to €420,000. But these indirect benefits of increased property values don't really incentivize the local authority, the housing association, because they're not going to be flipping the projects. They're not going to be, sort of selling them on and realizing that profit. So the tenant is very happy. The government is very happy. But the local authority or housing association see very few direct benefits. And most of the benefits are indirect, and they're not judged on them, and they're not incentivized by them. So really, in conclusion, what the data says is, and this has implications for our climate change bill, we need to retrofit 50,000 units, 15,000 of which are social housing units, every single year. The deep energy retrofit is shown to have real life-changing benefits for the tenant. And from a purely financial point of view, for a €28,000 investment, property value is increased by €35,000. Plus, the direct benefits over the 15-year period cover the deep energy retrofit cost. And again, overall benefits accrue to over 2.5 times the costs, of which indirect benefits add significantly to the overall financial viability. But the rub of the matter is the housing associations and local authorities who ultimately make this decision have a very small direct benefit and really do need innovative financial treatment in order to unlock the myriad of multiple benefits. So the decision maker, housing association and local authority really need help if all these multiple benefits are to be realized. So at that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and you'll see details here of my contact details. Thank you.